Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 207. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+, on the Facebook group Dumb SEO Questions, and also on Twitter as Dumb SEO QS. With us tonight, we have the oldest SEO in the world, David Roseanne, a copywriter of 30-odd years standing and an SEO for about 12 of those, some of them successfully, all of them successfully. David Roseanne can be found at writingforseo.org. Edwin Jonk is CEO of Idist Host in the Netherlands. He's an on-page SEO specialist and a web host, and you can find him at idesthost.nl. Meher Bhagat is a social media dynamo, or social media queen, and human resources dynamo. She's gone. Oh well. Senior SEO manager of Zendesk.com in the USA and regular speaker on the SEO public speaking circuit, Micah Fisher-Kirshner resides in the west coast of the USA. Tim Capper is a Google top contributor in the Google My Business community. He's also the CEO of onlineownership.com. William Rock, Tim is in the UK, that's right. William Rock is in Kansas in the USA. William is also a top contributor on the web search community. All right, our first question tonight is titled Stay in the Top Rank. It's from Neil Cheeseman. He said, thanks for the acceptance to the group. You're all welcome, and you're most welcome, Neil. I wonder if anyone can advise. My partner is an artist, and a couple of years ago, for several years, used to rank in the top 1 to 3 for the term pet portraits. She dropped down about 2 years ago and has managed to get to the heady heights of number 30-ish. I see websites ranked on page 1 that don't seem to have anything like the quality of backlinks and content. Any suggestions as to what might be holding the website down? Many thanks for any advice.
So I crawled this page with a great tool from SEMrush. I did the site audit and the backlinks for this particular site, and also some keyword tracking. The most obvious thing are the links. The links are really spammy. In the comments, he did say that he disavowed the links. But I still strongly suggest to take another look at those links, because they are not natural. If you go to the site, in the footer, you also find suggested sites. This is basically I link to you, you link to me strategy, which doesn't really work anymore. The webmaster really needs to address this and get this removed. Another thing SEMrush suggested was that there's not a lot of content on the site. Let me see.
Yeah, as an example for that, while he's looking through, the individual portrait pages don't have a lot of content on them. It's basically got a title, another kind of repeat of the same title, and then just a quick, like, this is a, for example, a pastel portrait, size this, and then more or less customer comment, which can be fairly short. It's when most of your site is made up of these portrait pages for the most part, because you have a lot of them. It kind of weighs down your site a bit. So there's not really a lot of descriptive elements there, and that's going to potentially weigh down your site if Google thinks your site's not providing enough kind of quality content for pages.
I also noticed that there wasn't an address, right? I assume that you work mostly local, and maybe you work with pictures, but most artists work local. So I would definitely get my Google Business page, so that people can easily find you and find your site if they're looking for an artist within their region. Did somebody else find an obvious thing, or?
Well, I was making sure I was on the right website. So I was looking. Is the Edwin, is the link I posted over on the chat the same one we're looking at? Was in the comments on our dashboard?
No, it's findpetportraits.co.uk.
Ah, that's what I'm missing. Okay.
So it's not Planet Urine as posted before.
You know, I was looking actually in our dashboard, the SEO Questions dashboard, and then basically it was just, for example.
In the comments, I gave an example of a link that is really, really bad, and that's the urine one.
That's what I was I was like, really? Pet portraits and this one? I think it overpowers on the other one. But
yeah,
okay. That makes sense now. Sorry.
I hope I disabled that link.
It is disabled. It's got the dot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not alive.
We don't want to link out to that particular site. That's horrible.
I'd be curious to find out what other, mentioning pet portraits, going back into Google Webmaster or Search Console. Curious to what other queries that they might be coming up for, and if they're on page 3 with 30th position, what other variations of that pet portraits keyword query would be also a part of that. And then going back to your comment, Edwin, about content, I think missing a little bit of content for sure. Sorry, my phone is going crazy. I'm muting.
Yeah, well, I did look at the ranking for Sandra Palm pet portraits, because the name of the webmaster is Sandra Palm, and she's listed first, and also for her name, the site is listed first. So that's nice. I would also like to have, for example, pet portraits London. I think they are near London or close to London. But that's, I think, a valuable keyword to have. And there's also another site, and that's about birds. So yeah, it's a little bit different, because these are photographs, I think.
Well, even with the photographs, there's a story behind every portrait. So, I mean, being able to actually showcase that portrait, and then even talk about, what other designs that go together with, this project that he or she might be working on, and then referencing the types of media you can put those portraits on, maybe a canvas or a what are the 3D canvases with vinyl. So there's all sorts of different things you can kind of elaborate on those portraits and utilize that story with those pictures.
Yep.
Because you're trying to get the pet owners, and pet owners love to take pictures of their animals, and it goes all over the viral internet. So as we've seen, but I think Edwin, you mentioned getting a Google Plus business page.
Yeah, a local business page, right? If I go to her, is this a business page? No, I think this is her own profile. I would like to be more local, right? And because then you also have the local keywords, pet portraits, and then your local city name. I think that's quite valuable.
And places where spectacular places that you might want to bring your customer to for those portraits. If it's on an outside shoot, there might be a waterfall or something, say, or a stream, or just a beautiful site that's in that backdrop that you can talk about. Then again, brings back that local aspect to things, but also gives the opportunity for other customers looking for something similar that you do. That be creative, have fun with it.
The other possibility is mentioning the thin content that you guys picked up. It could be that until that thin content is corrected, every time Panda runs, it's going to knock it down, and it's going down to position 30-ish. That sounds like an algorithmic penalty, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's also the issue with the links. And possible the penalty from the link exchange that happened somewhere in the past, but it's still active, right?
Yeah. On the SEMrush overview report, it looks like in May 2015, that's where they really saw a drop. And I'm wondering if that negative position is caused, like you guys said, maybe Panda took that. But if you go all the way back in the history of the first instance that I have is April 2010 in SEMrush, and then basically it spiked up with some pretty good traffic in about January 2011. Seems to have dropped in about March 2011, back up in about May. So fluctuation all the way through, and then it looks like they steadied some ground in 2015, 2014, and then basically lost it in 2015. So it looks like possibly a filter. So
yeah. Yes, Neil, I think that's perhaps certainly all of the things you've just heard are worth looking at. All right, let's move on to our next one. We've got about 8 or 9 tonight. It's titled "Category Pages Are Not Indexed," and it's from Velveeta Roquefort. Velveeta said, "Hi. If none of my tags or category pages are indexed in Google, some after years, can I simply delete all of the tags, most only go with 1 or 2 posts, and the categories that do not get much use?"
So yeah, I as well jumped on this on Facebook, and basically, yeah, you can basically 404 or 410 these pages. If they're no longer needed, then it's perfectly fine. There was a follow-up question kind of with getting links, or not links, if redirecting them. And generally, if you're redirecting to non-related pages, Google will treat that essentially as it won't pass any of the value you've built from that page over if it's unrelated. So for the most part, just a removing them is fine unless you've got a pretty similar page you can redirect it to.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, I think that's a fairly straightforward one, well answered by Micah. Let's go to the next, and that is, it's titled Backlinking Strategy. Hi guys, Kyle Hawke said I'm going to be starting my second niche site soon, and a question occurred to me: is it worth starting my backlinking strategy now, while I am still designing the site, or should I wait until the site is actually launched? So, for a little more detail, I have the domain, but I'm still creating the website in a dev environment only. So the domain would just be something like a static coming soon page. I realize it won't rank for anything, of course, but would it benefit in the long run to start backlinking even before the launch of the site? Just a thought. Thanks to everyone for the always helpful advice. See, one of our forum heroes, Siraj Gadagay, he suggested that Kyle waits until his site is complete. Tim Capper said he seconds that. How could a site earn a natural link if it doesn't exist? You should have been a philosopher, Tim.
Yeah, we kind of expanded on that later slightly, and he was thinking of just obviously using, just spreading the word, social media, forums, things like that. So I wouldn't really call that a link building strategy. I would call that sort of more of an awareness program. But yeah, the site should certainly have, with any new site that you're launching, if it's going to be taking a while, but you already want to start branding it up, you should certainly have a landing page, at least telling people what's coming, what's in the making, what's going to be appearing. I always recommend, you can set up 1 or 2 social pages so that you could start, getting the interest up. But of course, also have a sign up to it. So you have a sign up on the page, which will alert people that are interested in either the site, the product, the service, to when it's actually fully launched, which is nice because if you build things up over a few period, a couple of months' time, when it launches, you may have a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand people that will be informed that, hey, the site's now live. So you kind of have an instant sort of, visibility that people want to look at. But in terms of actually going out and like a backlinking strategy, well, if you don't have a site in that sense, so yeah, promotion, fine, building awareness, talking on forums, on social, that's all great. But in terms of actually thinking about where am I going to target, even if you were targeting things with content, you're not really going to, I don't see anyone publishing anything about a site that doesn't exist yet. So in terms of that, no, far better to wait until you're actually live. But in terms of branding and promotion, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right, let's call that a wrap and move on to the next. Oh, this was Tim Capper talking about massive flux going on today. What did it all turn out to be, Tim?
Well, over the weekend, well, no, we don't know yet. It seems to be some kind of core algorithmic update. Google has confirmed that it was not Penguin. and they just roll out the usual stuff that, you know, we make 1,000 changes every year, blah 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 blah. But this was big, certainly. Local landscape in terms of maps has gone freaking haywire. Organic local hasn't changed, but maps has gone mental. So yeah, we don't know what it is, and that's about that. We might not ever know.
Okay. All right, mate. Thank you.
Penguin.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, William.
I said, but we know it's not Penguin. Not yet, at least.
Give
Yeah,
it another
well,
year.
Penguin's dead.
I would agree. This one's kind of toast.
Yeah. See, there's dead penguins everywhere.
This
I
one's
tell
still
you, I know correlation doesn't equal causation, Micah. But look, I think you can draw a line. There are parallels. If you look around the chattering classes over the weekend, you can see that the same people that were saying penguin, they're the people that used to wear Google Glass. Anyway, don't worry about it. Let's move on to the next.
Jim, was that more of a rose-tinted glass?
No, Google Glass. You know, the one with the one eye. You know that one that with a battery on it.
Yes, sir. I was making a funny. I'm sorry.
I got it.
Ahmed Kumar asked us a question on rel publisher versus rel author tag. He said, I have a news website and I have a G+ page for it. I want to know that as I am using a G+ page in rel publisher, can the same page be used for the rel author tag? See.
Well, yes, but well, your rel author should be, so the publisher is the G+ of, if it's a news website, you won't have a business page, you'll have a brand page. So you would use the rel author, and you would use the brand page, and sorry, the publisher would be the brand page, and the rel author would be you. Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem.
Excellent, thanks, Tim. I see.
But you don't want to be using rel author and rel publisher the same, because that just doesn't make sense. Because you as a individual is not the publisher. The publisher is the name, the brand of the website. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a clear distinction there.
All right. Anybody else before we move on from this one?
Does it really matter, the rel author?
Well, Google says they don't use it, so you can more or less bet that they do.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but the point of if Google uses if Google uses it, doesn't use it, doesn't make me like fuck. If Google says jump off a cliff, I'm going to say fuck yeah. I do what I feel that is best in terms of information, and especially with structured data these days. The more information you can provide to all search engines so that they can understand, I think is great. Whether they use it or not is besides the point. Ultimately, this might be a new site, this might be 5 years old, but let's say 10 years down the line, you will have a couple of thousand, articles where you're attributing your name to. You ultimately might you know, start appearing as, you know, for a person in terms of a knowledge graph, and it will all, you know, these things will all slowly join the dots. So provide as much information as you can to search engines, for sure. You know, whether Google uses it, whether they don't use it, another search engine might. So yeah, mark up, you know, as much as possible and in a logical fashion.
Super, Tim. All right, let's move on to the next. This one from Vicky Simon. It's titled 12 H1 tags on the one page. Vicky said, "Hi, so glad I found this group, as are we, Vicky." And she said she has some dumb SEO questions. First one, SEMrush site edit audit says nearly all of my articles have multiple H1 tags. It even says some have 12 H1 tags. I did not add any H1 tags to posts. WordPress uses the title as H1, so I just use H2. SEMrush showed me the source code for one of my posts, that it says has two H1s, where WordPress is making a class out of the title and thus making another H1. This is over my head. I don't know why a post I just wrote has 12 H1s. How can I fix this issue, or is it even worth fixing? Thanks.
This is a this is a fun one. I had this come up with a client's WordPress site last week. The 12 on one page is probably something like a category page, where it's a list of blog posts, and you'll find that all of those H1s are just a series of titles from your blogging activity. Now, my client's site turned out to have multiple H1s, and for some reason, the designer, the development company, had put sorry, various logos on the pages as H1s. Now, this led to a discussion about whether my view was that H1 was being used entirely wrongly there. It was not a heading, and therefore the theme should be changed. Another view was that as it didn't have any text in it, then the H1 wouldn't mess up things. I stay by my my view of this, that H1 should be textual, and it should be headings. It seems silly to leave this in place with something that can be changed. Now, the other thing here is that when there was a move to HTML5, we are allowed to put multiple H1 tags, but again, it's a bit like what Tim was saying last time, which for the last answer, that you should try and get these things right and help people and the search engines. I like to make it very clear what the headline is on a page, because if you've got several large size headings on a page, that's confusing for someone wanting to read the content. I also believe it probably makes the task of analysing the content on a page for a search algorithm to. I think that probably makes it difficult for the search algorithms. I suspect from what we have here, there are H1s. These two H1s. The other H1 we don't know. Do we know what the address of this site is?
I'm afraid not, David. I don't think so.
So we can't actually say what the other H1 is, but I would say, I would guess that this is a bought-in or free theme, WordPress theme, and I guess that the questioner probably, as I would be a bit confused as to how to change the erroneous H1, or at least I would assume it's erroneous. I think probably it would be good to have the URL of the address of the site, and then we can actually see what the other H1 is doing.
Excellent.
Otherwise, you know, find someone who does know how to tinker with themes and ask them to reclassify the H1 that isn't the headline for you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, David. Anybody else? All right. The one thing I'd say to Vicky, if you would like to repost again and give us a URL for us to look at, we may be able to make some more out of that for you. But I think David covered it. Possibly that page with the 12 H1s is a page with links to 12 of your blogs. All right, let's move on to the next. This one from Stephen from Abraxas Taxi, Sicantelli in Florida. Stephen has asked a number of questions of us. This is titled Consensus About a Mobile-Friendly Website. What is the consensus on your page if your page is not mobile-friendly? This shows up in Google search. The tests say the page is friendly. There's some strange stuff going on lately. And apparently Google have made an announcement, as Dave Elliott confirms in the chat through the week on the SEO Questions community on Google+. He said they're about to get rid of the mobile-friendly badge on the search engine result pages, so it's likely to be a bit strange at the moment.
Yeah, Google's going through a little bit of flux when it comes to how to showcase something as friendly and how to even display results on mobile. So there's going to be a lot of changes upcoming in that space, and you're just going to have to be flexible while Google's going through this. It's kind of recognize it can be a little frustrating as they're making those changes, but you know, the industry is moving along rather rapidly in the mobile space.
Yep. I see Stephen also asked, he said, my site is badged as not mobile friendly, even though it is mobile friendly when I use the Search Console tool. And Stephen wanted to know, are they trying to make me use AMP? And I think if I was to ask for a show of hands, I'd get unanimous no, they're not trying to make you use AMP.
That's where just for his benefit, making sure that if it's not being shown as mobile friendly, then finding out what some of those issues are, whether it's speed, design, the layout, whatever that is. Fixing those things will in turn remove that not mobile friendly label. So yeah, as a reiteration, you don't actually have to have AMP to be classified or to get rid of that not mobile friendly label.
Excellent. All right, let's tweak this one and move on. I hope you're well, Stephen. Right, this one from Mark Biker Dyke on a question titled "Clone a Website." Mark said, "Hi all, I have a client with a website in the UK. He's asked if we can clone the website, but focus it for the Northern Irish market. It's a .com website anyway, so should this be pulling up in Northern Ireland anyway? What with it being part of the UK? It would be. But what do you guys have to say?"
Well, there isn't specifically, obviously, a domain for sort of Northern Ireland. However, if I was in .com, the situation is what kind of you could specify if you only wanted to appear in Northern Ireland. Well, it wouldn't actually segment it. It would be Ireland as a whole. You could specify that in Webmaster Tools as country to serve, and you could also use, you know, a language specification, which Irish there is an English, EN, an Irish specification. However, you don't just want to serve it in Ireland, I'm assuming. So I would generally serve it UK, but then have Irish pages which are handled with Irish Ireland hreflang pages. But if you didn't go through that process, your .com will certainly be appearing in Ireland anyway, and I would just use a lot more sort of on-page references to sort of give Google those signals that this is specifically for Ireland. So, for example, the address, the business address, is it in Ireland? Well, that should certainly be in the footer. You're, connecting it up to a local business page. That would obviously have the Irish Northern Ireland and its specific postcode, etc. So, there's a couple of ways you can do it. But if this site is the specific one for the Irish market, if it's specifically for the Irish market, I would certainly use a lot more on-page signals to allow Google to make that kind of determination that this is specifically for Ireland, because based upon your business address, based upon areas that you're serving, based upon I don't know what you do, but just using a lot more localized information within the site.
Yeah, I'm a little bit struggling with the cloning part, right? Because he basically duplicates his UK site, right? If he has .co.uk, I don't know, but I'm a little bit concerned about that. Because those reviews from Northern Ireland, and if he has a store, or that could be.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure whether the main site is actually UK and then they want another site for Ireland. Well, if your main site is for the UK, because certain parts of the site you can't I don't know, is specific. There's different, I don't know, things for the island. Well, then I would not clone the site. I would have specific pages for Northern Ireland and use hreflang specifically for Northern Ireland, and those pages would need to be changed up slightly because, so let's say your homepage deals with UK. Well, then you would have, you know, the whatever the domain name is / IRL, and then it would, you know, potentially be pretty much the same. However, you would have a lot more Irish-specific content, whether it be shipping delays, whether it be postal. I mean, I don't know what you do, but it may be the postal charges are different, or do you have a Irish warehouse that, or a distributor, or whatever you do. So yeah, you know, your content would need to be the same. You can't just go and copy it, and you know what I mean. It has, those pages have to be marked up, obviously with hreflang if you're using it on the main domain, but then you still need to change the content up for that specific market.
Okay. Yes, well, I think we've covered this, and as well that there's also Dave Elliott's contribution on the SEO Questions community on Google+. So let's move on to the next. Oh, this is not actually a question. It's just a post that we made on the SEO Questions community, where I said that hopefully there's enough time left to lead some of you to our Facebook group, the Dumb SEO Questions Facebook group, before the lights go out on Google+. Yeah, I think it's probably a good strategy for us to do that.
Yeah, and it opens up the forum for more questions as well, if we're getting it from many different groups or networks.
But personally, I don't see the lights going out on Google Plus just yet, especially with this tests that they're running at the minute with posts directly in search. They've just gone from their small group search up to the 100,000 level search. So that means this is seriously working and sort of happening. Then the next stage is they need to take it up to the the sort of the million user test. But the shit's happening, and I don't see the lights going out, especially if they pushing direct into search from Google Plus. I don't see the lights going out, mate.
Primarily, isn't video advertising, or sorry, the video portion of Google Plus is actually going more to YouTube Live, or whatever they're calling it these days, right, Tim? So Google Plus is still sticking around. I think what's going on is, even we saw with John Mueller on his Hangout, where it was basically getting ready to transition away from the way that we do a Hangout versus now a broadcast on YouTube.
Well, that kind of just makes sense, because I suppose it's easier to have it on YouTube, direct to YouTube. And that kind of makes sense, but I think Google Plus will certainly become more streamlined, become tighter. But the direct push into search from posts, like I said, they're still obviously testing it, but I mean, it looks good. It looks seriously good, and personally, if it does get pushed out, ultimately, you are going to see the uptake in people, businesses, and brands using G+ skyrocket, absolutely skyrocket, because pushing your post direct into search live, I mean, that's mental.
Yeah, but that's not because of the power of Google Plus. That's because of the power of Google Search, right?
Yes, but the platform you have to push it from is Google Plus.
Yeah. And
So
I don't think. Well, you guys leave the EU, but I'm still here. That the European Union would like this because that's basically promoting their own property, right?
So they may put these above the Twitters, but fuck it, you know. I'm out of the EU, mate. I don't give a toss. The EU can go and sit in the EU can go and sit in slumberland. They can go and, you know, the way the EU's going, essentially, Google's going to pull out of every single European country and say, right, mate, you people don't even get search results now, because pretty much the EU wants Google to pay websites for them to be indexed. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
Ever.
No. That's what the publishers wanted. That's
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I want you to pay me to feature my site in your search results. Nah, ain't never gonna happen. And Google's made that plainly clear. They pulled out of, you know, they pulled out of Spain when Germany wanted to do it. The German publishers, you know, pretty much, you know, like freaked out and begged, you know, and said we're sorry and blah blah blah. It's just
there's still a change, right? It used to be that Google would send out people from Google.com. Right now, with the one box and all the answers, people stay on Google.com. So that's really an issue, and it's not Google's content, right? It's other people created it, and Google is using it.
But they don't show the entire news article. If they showed the entire news article, they don't show the news article. Where?
No, not well. They do. They give direct. They do give direct answers, right? If you search for something.
Yeah, but that's when do they do that for news? You know, it's like
like curious, like how to, you know, curious, right?
Yeah, but then the publishers need to get clever and not provide the full frickin' answer.
Yeah, but people want
you know what I mean?
Like answer.
It's like, okay,
people also want something like that is a very quick answer.
This is ridiculous because so basically, you know, it doesn't give you the in-depth answer, but basically you're saying here that, okay, well then Google in Webmaster Tools, or if your quick answer is appearing in an instant answer, robots.txt that freaking page. No index it, so that Google will take that down. You know, all these publishers, if they don't want Google to surface their content, robots.txt it.
Let me give you.
I just don't understand.
How much energy is?
Whoa! What the?
Let me give you an example from sites that went down because of copyright infringement. There were sites that linked to live radio streams, and around them they had advertisement. Our government, or the people that collect things, if in public you make you have the radio on, you have to pay that particular organization, right, for copyright. So they had that site, and they were only linking to the live streams of those radio programs. They had a couple of ads around them, and they basically went out of business because they had to pay. Well, because this is Google, they don't have to pay, right?
Hang on. Google serves a title and a meta description. If you do not want to appear in Google, robots.txt your pages.
Yeah, but I'm giving you examples of websites that went down because they had to pay.
No, but that was for radio. I mean, that's like licensing.
That was only linking to a radio show or a streaming thing. So they weren't on their own site. They didn't stream it. They were only linking out, just like Google, right? Google has 10 links. Those radio sites had 10 links to other streaming services. And they basically went out of business.
But Google pays artists billions every year.
But not for linking.
But I don't understand for linking. I really don't understand what you're trying to say.
Well,
okay,
for
so
example,
firstly, if this website was linking to copyrighted artistic material, right, that's between the website and the artist. Where's Google got to, huh? I don't understand.
Well, Google links out too, right? It was just a link. It was nothing more. So they had to pay because of those links. They weren't streaming or anything. They were only linking to the radio show or the radio stream.
Yeah, but that wasn't a private. I'm not following.
Oh,
He's basically saying that a small site, which doesn't have an index, like a blog post, was linking to streams.
Yeah, and of
official,
course,
I'm presuming legit official. And the official legit site said, "Stop linking to us," and took out the business. And
yeah,
so they started their own
I don't
page.
get how that's similar. I don't get how that's similar. Google is not publishing content. They will publish
We're not talking
the
content,
title and a meta.
but they're still
Sorry?
linking to. We're not talking anything. He's just saying, from a link-to-link standpoint, a website was taken out just because it linked. That's it. Which is stupid on its own, I think.
Yeah, but it was on an individual page. Google wouldn't have published that page. They would have just published the title and the meta description of the page that the publisher provided to the search engine.
well, in this particular case, the publishers weren't complaining about the link. There were a government official. It's called Brain. I'm not sure how it's called.
I'll tell you what, mate. The EU is just so complicated. Google should just fucking leave the EU to go in slumberland. Just let them play with DuckDuckGo or something and just pull out.
Yeah, they want to stay back in the 80s. Let them. That's fine. Being forced to pay to link to something is always the wrong concept. You're just shitting yourself. Or yeah.
I mean, I know Google pays, well, not Google itself, but YouTube pays gajillions every time you know, a snippet from a movie or a song or anything like that. So they pay artists and stuff. Certainly in those instances.
Maybe Author's Guide is somewhat similar in the United States.
Say that again?
Author's Guide. Guild. They protect the copyrights in the US, no?
Authors Guild? No. Well, we have federal agencies. I mean, as far as I'm aware, authors guilds and all that stuff are more smaller groups. You don't usually hear about them from a standpoint of what they do, though. Usually, it's things like the MPAA from a organization standpoint, and you hear about DMCA for things that get taken down. But you don't. Yeah, I don't. I've never heard of anything that deals with the Authors Guild.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of the time what you hear is oops. Yeah, let's see what they got here. Yeah, the Copyright Office as well. But the U.S. is, the U.S. is very similar to the concept of what Tim's going with. It's just you know. So you're free to.
Anyway, getting back to the post in hand, I don't think Google Plus is dying. I think that if and when they release the tests, which ultimately they probably will do, I'm hoping they do. If they like it and it goes on and it becomes live, I think Google Plus uptake will just skyrocket, like through the stratosphere, because who doesn't want to post published direct into search right below your name, right next to your knowledge panel, and then it looks so beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. And they're still, obviously, the ones that you can see it on. If anybody wants to know what the hell I'm talking about, you can just search Hillary Clinton or, you know, any of Donald Trump's or any of them. I don't know where they're showing it today. Let me have a quick look. Let's search Hillary the lying. Hillary. Did I say lying? Oh.
I think collection. Another edition though, Tim, as well. Collections, they've just made that whole rebuild with collections and it's not in the knowledge panel today. It's actually right below the Twitter feed. So I suppose they probably did it below the Twitter feed to placate people like the EU going, oh, but you're just showing your content. So yeah, I mean, how sexy do those look? It just looks beautiful. And every brand, business is going to want to be able to publish those live. I mean, literally, you don't have to wait for these to be indexed, people. It's in your Google Plus. You can either do it via an app, and essentially, it looks like a normal post. You can add an image, you can add a title, you can add your text, you can interlink, whatever. You hit go, and it's like literally within 5 seconds, it's right there in the search results for your brand name. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I reckon sunset by November 7, 2017.
What?
Sunset by November 2017.
Okay, so Jim, can you not see the potential of that?
Well,
so you're telling me you wouldn't want that wouldn't want that real estate. That no business is going to want to use that real estate.
Well, it's sort of like, you know, getting the YouTubers over onto Google Plus. You know, I mean, what sort of quality is going to come along? What sort of quality are these new people who know nothing of the culture of Google Plus? They just want to get their post into search.
No, but it's for the
It'll be
brand acting.
Al Remich all over again.
Yes, but that's going to be a detriment to their brand. And if they post crap for their brand name, well, then that's their business gone. And you know, that's just market economy. If they post crap and their business is shit, they'll disappear.
Yeah, well, it won't necessarily be crap. It'll be high class crap. Advertisements.
Yeah, but you won't. Yeah, but then you wouldn't be searching for that brand page, would you? So it's not going to make a difference. It's for their customers that like that brand. It's only for the branded name search. It's not for appearing in all over like weird keywords, and you know, it's not traditional kind of stuff like a page that would appear for several kind of keywords. This is only for your brand name or your business name.
Mm-hmm. November 2017.
All right, mate. All right. I don't understand how you cannot see.
And keep in mind that I'm batting 6 from 6 at this stage. Is that right, Edwin? 6 from 6 so far?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And besides, November 2017 is a long way away.
Just shut up, mate. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. You need to go to bed or something. You're getting old and grumpy.
All right, Neil Cheeseman commented in Facebook. Thank you guys for your feedback and input. He said some of the backlinks generated have also have secondary duplicate websites created with links. These have now also been added to the disavow. The domains mentioned were already in the disavow file. And he said, working on other issues, have removed the no-follow external links. This was a social media plugin. But I think an important point was brought up by Micah, and that was thin content. Anyway, well, look, I think that's about it for tonight, guys, unless there's any other items of general business. No? Well, look, actually we're moving to Facebook, I think, has been good for us. We've had quite a few viewers tonight, and we thank you for that. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again, but for now, it's good night.